Hello friends, let's discuss current affairs. Today's first question is about military firepower, and the world's most powerful military is the United States, while in the fourth place is our country, and that's what the question is about. What's India's rank, in terms of the world's most powerful militaries? We are the fourth most powerful, and as I said, United States is the world's most powerful, military. What are the top five? uh, you know top five countries. So whenever we rank something, we don't put dots, because if we put dots, it becomes a serial number. So always remember, whenever you have dots, whenever you want to rank something, you don't put dots after the numbers. So the world's most powerful military would be one, United States. And on what basis? Like, how did the organization Global Firepower rank these countries? On what parameters? There 60 parameters were taken to rank these countries. 60. That's quite a lot of parameters. Some parameters were, they range from the number of fighter aircraft to number of trainer aircraft to oil consumption, natural gas consumption. I mean, you would think that why would natural gas consumption come into play? Because this is a very critical resource, my friends. Natural gas is a pretty critical resource for a country's economy as well as for its military. So, United States ranks 1. Number 2 would be Russia. 3, China. 4, India. We are the fourth most powerful military, and the fifth one is South Korea, which is a country in the Far East. Okay, so South Korea has been upgrading its military, since in the last, ever since the threats from the north, or the northern country in the peninsula, that is North Korea, has been increasing. So a lot of threats, because North Korea is a nuclear power. It has ballistic missiles that can reach the eastern coast of the US. In fact, it has a military. North Korea has a missile called Hwasong 18. I'll write it here. Hwasong 18. This missile has a range of 15,000 kilometers, my friends. 15,000 kilometers. It can reach New York, Washington, on the east coast of the United States. So now, within the parameters, within these rankings, there is a lot of variation. For example, the United States has nearly 13,000 aircraft, 13,200 aircraft. Okay. Now, remember this, 13,200 aircraft include trainer aircraft, fighter aircraft and all. Now, Russia in the second place has about 4,200 aircraft. So there is a lot of variation between the first and the second. China has about 3,300 aircraft. I remember 3,300, while India has about 2,300 aircraft. Okay, so there's a huge difference between the third and the fourth place as well, almost 1/3. If you look at China, 3,300, India has 2,300, aircraft. So, there is this variation, but overall, the world's most powerful military would be the United States. And the fact that the US has had active military participation in a lot of places around the world also gives it firepower in terms of real stay power. They have been fighting in different theaters of the world: Afghanistan, Iraq, Vietnam, Africa. There are a lot of countries in Africa where the Americans are positioned, Americans are stationed, American military forces are stationed. So they are there everywhere in the world, and they have been pretty active in fighting. If you look at China, which is number 3, ever since the Vietnam War ended in 1975, the Chinese haven't had any active war participation, and that's what keeps a lot of analysts little hesitant from calling China the world's second superpower, because China doesn't have war experience, military war experience. Okay, so its military is untested. It may have advanced technology, but at the end of the day, if it's not been used in a real war theater, things don't really work out. Yeah. So if you look at, I just mentioned oil consumption. The United States is the world's largest oil consumer. US is the world's largest consumer. Second is China. Third is India. So the top three energy consumers in the world would be United States, China, and India, in that order. Fair, guys? Let's go past this. Whom are the following persons are the recipients of the World Economic Forum's 30th Annual Crystal Awards? These are the highest awards given out by the World Economic Forum, which is more of an NGO, in Switzerland. All three. If you look at the first guy, he's an architect from Burkina Faso. You must have heard of this country in Africa. Yeah, Burkina Faso. So he's an architect there. And Michelle Yeoh is the Chinese actress. She's a superstar in her own way. Neil Rogers is from, is an American US musician. I'm just saying musician because there are a lot of other roles he plays. And what do we know about the World Economic Forum? The World Economic Forum considers itself to be a non-governmental organization, what we call an NGO. This was started in 1971 by a person named Klaus Schwab, who also happens to be the current chairperson. Klaus Schwab, it's headquartered in a place called Colony, which is in Switzerland. The annual meeting of the World Economic Forum always happens at a place called Davos. Remember, the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum happens in the Swiss town of Davos, D-A-V-O-S, Davos. Okay, chalo, let's see from here. According to India's think tank, the Niti Aayog, how many people have been pulled out of poverty? More than 24 crore people have been pulled out of poverty, multi-dimensional poverty in the span of just 9 years. Now, what is multi-dimensional poverty? If you want to take a definition, you could take this, because often in interviews they ask these kinds of questions. Not just interviews, you may sometimes be asked to write a few lines about something as important as MDI, which is MDP, which is multi-dimensional poverty. Okay, it's actually called MPI, multi-dimensional poverty index. Here M is multi-dimensional, P is poverty, I is index. So you could write this. A multi-dimensional poverty index measures simultaneous deprivations, that is deprivations at the same time, simultaneous deprivations across 12 indicators aligned, I'll spell difficult words, aligned with sustainable development goals. Okay, sustainable development goals dash. What are these kinds of deprivations? You could write cooking fuel, housing, nutrition. There are plenty of this. I'm just going to name 3-4. Years of schooling, nutrition. Okay, we mentioned nutrition. Maternal health, and drinking water. There is sanitation, a lot of things. So drinking water. So of these many parameters, on which deprivations occur, remember, cooking fuel and housing contribute the most to deprivation. Most people don't have access to housing. Okay. And a lot of people don't have access to new cooking fuel. That is the reason why the Ujjwala Yojana, which is about supplying gas cylinders and everything, has become such a super hit. Yeah. So the the two parameters that contribute most to deprivations would be housing and cooking fuel. Nutrition, sanitation have improved a lot in the last few years because of because of the government policies like nutrition. When we talk of nutrition, there is Poshan Abhiyan, and when we are talking of, let's say, cooking, when we are talking of, let's say, what is that, sanitation, Swachh Bharat Yojana and all that, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, things have changed a lot, my friends. Within this, what countries have suffered, rather, what countries have states? I'm so sorry. What states have pulled the most number of people out of poverty? You could write this. One, Uttar Pradesh. It has pulled nearly 5.9 crore people out of poverty. Take a round figure of 6 crore. I think next is Bihar. Yeah, its neighbor in the east. 3.3 crore. West Bengal, no, Madhya Pradesh. About 2.4 crore. 2.3, 2.4 crore. So Uttar Pradesh has managed to pull 6 crore people out of multi-dimensional poverty in the last 9 years, which is a phenomenal achievement, my friends. Bihar's also done quite well. About, it's pulled about 3.3 crore people out of multi-dimensional poverty. Yeah, so things are changing. More and more people are living healthier lives, have access to sanitation, nutritious food. Things need to work a lot longer for poverty to decrease, my friends. Now, who is the CEO of Niti Aayog? The CEO of Niti Aayog is BVR Subramaniam. BVR Subramaniam. Okay. Which city is hosting the 54th World Economic Forum's annual meeting that began on the 15th of January 2024? Davos, Switzerland. We just mentioned it a while ago. It's always held in Davos, Switzerland. Once it did happen in Singapore, especially after the COVID thing. But for now, remember, the World Economic Forum's annual meeting almost always takes place in Davos, Switzerland. Can we put some organizations in each of these places? London, you could put Amnesty International. Paris, UNESCO, which is the United Nations and Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. New York City, United Nations. Canberra is the capital of Australia. It's also called Bush City. That's the nickname of this city, Bush City. Bush means forest. It was built in the middle of nowhere. When Sydney and Melbourne were fighting among themselves as to become as to who would become the capital, both of them want to become the capital, but of course you couldn't have two capitals for a demographically small country like Australia. The government said, okay, we'll go neutral. We'll have a city that is more or less equidistant from Sydney and Melbourne, and we'll go with Canberra. So they built the small village of Canberra into the capital city. Okay. Forbes magazine has released its list of 10 strongest currencies in the world. Which country has the world's most valuable currency? Well, Kuwaiti dinar. You must be wondering as to how this works. There you could write the two reasons. One, economic stability, and two, tax-free system. There are no taxes in Kuwait. Next, the strength of a currency is determined by the number of goods and services which can be purchased. The strength of a currency is determined by the number of goods and services which can be purchased with one unit of the national currency. And how much foreign currency can be obtained can be obtained, obtained, obtained in exchange for 1 unit of national currency. 1 unit of national currency. Now, just to give you an idea, $1 equals, let's say, 85 rupees. 85 rupees. Here, in Kuwait, we say Kuwaiti dinar. Kuwaiti dinar, there is a spelling error. Kuwaiti dinar, one Kuwaiti dinar will get you $3.25. Can you beat that? Yeah, think about it. $1 gets you 85 rupees, but whereas 1 Kuwaiti dinar will get you 3.25, dollars, and 1 Kuwaiti dinar will get you 270 rupees. So if you have a cousin working in Kuwait, the person sends 1 rupee, 1 dinar, you will get 270 when you exchange it. So it's a pretty strong currency, my friends. Yeah, very strong currency. So the world's most valuable, national currency is Kuwaiti dinar. Okay. By partnering with which country's Coast Guard has the Indian Coast Guard recently conducted a successful joint exercise named Sahyog case off the coast of Chennai, Japan. Is it? Japan. So, who is a chairperson? I'm not going to discuss more than this. Yeah. It is not chairperson, Director General. The Director General of Indian Coast Guard is Rakesh Pal. Rakesh Pal. Let's look at just the capitals. Seoul, Beijing. We mentioned Australia a while ago. So Canberra, Thailand, Bangkok. Okay. Thailand has a new Prime Minister. We will just write the name of the Prime Minister also. Srettha Thavisin. Srettha Thavisin is the new Prime Minister of Thailand. South Korea has a president whose name is Suk Yeol. Okay, Yuk Suk Yeol. China's Prime Minister is Li Qiang. That's the Prime Minister of China. Australia's Prime Minister is Anthony Albanese. There's too much of yellow, I guess. Let's go to either white or red. The Appointments Committee of the Cabinet has approved the reappointment of Dr. Michael Debabrata Patra as Deputy Governor of the RBI. Okay, the RBI has 4 deputy governors. One is Michael. You could write this Michael. It's mentioned now. Michael Debabrata Patra. That's 1. 2. M. Rajeshwar Rao. M. Rajeshwar Rao. Okay, and number 3 would be T. Ravi Shankar. And 4, Swaminathan J. Swaminathan J. What about the choices? SEBI chairperson is, what's her name? Madhavi Puri Bhuj. Madhavi Puri Bhuj. Yes. Erudite is Debashish Panda. Debashish Panda. SEBI chairperson, sorry, SBI chairperson Dinesh Khara. PFRDA is run by, I think, Deepak Mohanty. Deepak Mohanty. The Pench Tiger Reserve has been declared India's first dark sky park. PTR, Pench Tiger Reserve is in, where is it? Is in, Maharashtra. It's actually spread across two. Both Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. Both are right, my friends. It's India's only national park. I think it's India's only national park that is spread across two states. Or it was India's first national park to be spread across two states, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. So both are right. What's a dark sky? You could write this. Dark sky reserve or dark sky park. An area usually surrounding an area usually surrounding a park or an observatory that restricts artificial light pollution, full stop. It is great for, or rather natural darkness is great for nature conservation and ecological diversity and ecological integrity. Okay. Integrity in protected areas. I think this should be fine. So when we say tiger reserves, we have had India's national tiger conservation program called Project Tiger. It was launched in 1973. And one more thing is, you must have heard of the Corbett National Park. The Corbett National Park is India's oldest national park that was launched in 1936. Corbett National Park, India's oldest national park, launched in 1936. With which bank has the Deen Dayal Antyodaya National Rural Livelihood Mission program has signed an MOU to facilitate enterprise financing for self-help groups, especially women groups. The State Bank of India. So the State Bank of India has launched a scheme called a loan called Swayam Siddha is a loan that it's tailor-made for women self-help groups, which kind of cuts down the red tape. Red tape is dealing, bureaucratic dealing. Okay, so if a self-help group, women self-help group, wants a loan of at least 5 lakh rupees, they can use this Swayam Siddha loan through SBI channels. This kind of fastens the process, my friends. It kind of speeds up the process of securing funds and getting on with work. What about ICICI Bank? ICICI Bank is run by Sandeep Bakshi. HDFC Bank, Sashidhar Jagdishan. IndusInd Bank, Sumant Katpalia. Axis Bank, Amitabh Chaudhary. The World Health Organization has launched the International Classification of Diseases, traditional medicine module 2. So ICD-11, traditional TMM 2. In this context, data and terminology related to diseases based on which the following has been included: all Unani, Siddha, and Ayurveda. Okay. So these are traditional medical systems or medicine systems, and what the ICD has done is, disease defining terms in these, three traditional medicine modules or three medicine methods have been indexed and now added to the WHO classification series. So a disease that's called X in allopathy would have a different name, let's say in Ayurveda, and a different name in Unani or Siddha. So everything is given in order, my friends. Okay. The WHO is headquartered in Geneva, and its chairperson is Tedros Adhanom. Tedros Adhanom of Ethiopia. Which bank's branch in Canada has launched the Money to India mobile banking app enabling swift and secure money transfers? So it's ICICI Bank. Not much to discuss here. It's I guess nothing. Prashant Kumar is the CEO of S Bank. Prashant Kumar. Just to mention, since Canada is mentioned, Canada is the world's second largest country by area. Its area is about 99 lakh square kilometers, my friends. 99 lakh would mean between 99 and 100 lakh, that is 1 crore. So Canada is the world's second biggest country by area. Its capital is Ottawa. When I find a name, I actually gives a little more than usual. And its prime minister is Justin Trudeau. Which military wing has developed an end-to-end secure mobile ecosystem named Sambhav to provide secure communication with instant connectivity on the move? This is very important because security concerns have pushed the Indian government, the Indian military, to go for indigenously developed operating systems on their mobile phones. So they have launched what is called Sambhav, which is, you could write, Secure Army Mobile Bharat Vision. Secure Army Mobile Bharat Vision. Okay. So the Indian Army has launched this. The operating system for this will be developed by an Indian company. So this is a part of what is called Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India. Indian Army is headed by General Manoj Pandey. Indian Navy is headed by Admiral R. Harikumar. Indian Air Force by Air Chief Marshal, Vivek Ram Chowdhury. National Security Guard by Director General M.A. Ganapathy, while Central Industrial Security Force is headed by Director General Neena Singh. The 12th edition of the multilateral naval exercise hosted by the Indian Navy will take place in February off the coast of Visakhapatnam. See, the full name of Milan is Multilateral Naval Exercise. So this year, navies from about 40 countries, some say 50 countries, will participate in this military naval exercise. It started, this is one point you could write, it started in 1995. This is when it started, my friends. Okay. So there's not much to discuss here. Which state has launched Operation Amrit, which is antimicrobial resistance intervention for total health to prevent the overuse of antibiotics in the state? Kerala. So see, the use of antibiotics has increased manifold. Even when people do not require them, they take antibiotics, and that has reduced the efficacy of these medicines. How well they work when they are needed most by the body, is a matter of concern, matter of conjecture also, guess. But to prevent overuse, the government of India has launched this, and Kerala has become the first state to launch Amrit. Okay. Now, one more thing is this, that Kerala has also launched what is called PROUD. What is PROUD? You could write this: Program for Removal of Unused Drugs. Program for Removal of Unused Drugs. Do you know Kerala has the highest sex ratio in India? Highest sex ratio. And do you know that Goa is India's smallest state by area? It's about 3,702 square kilometers. It's a pretty small state, my friends. Telangana is India's newest state. With which nation has India recently signed an agreement with exploration and mining of lithium? Because we found nearly 5.9 million tons, that is 59 lakh tons of lithium reserves in Jammu and Kashmir. Now we need a certain technology and expertise in not just exploring but also mining of lithium. So we should be able to extract it in the right way. And because lithium mining is very tough. Argentina is a global leader, my friends. Argentina is a global leader in lithium. Okay. The biggest producer of lithium is Australia. So producer wise, the world's biggest producer of lithium is Australia. And the biggest reserves are not in Australia. Okay. They are in Chile. Chile has the biggest reserves of lithium, while biggest producer is Australia. Lithium has Li for symbol and atomic number 3. It is atomic number 3. Let's clear this entire thing. And one more thing. There is something called the lithium triangle. Lithium triangle. Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile. 3 countries make for the lithium triangle. This area is spread across these 3 countries. Okay, just the capitals: Peru, Lima; Mexico City; Thailand, Ayodhya. Why I said this is because why I said Ayodhya, because the old Thailand, the kingdom of Thailand, had a capital city named Ayutthaya. What is it? Ayutthaya, which is a corruption of the word Ayodhya. So their ancient capital was Ayutthaya. The new capital, of course, is Bangkok. Okay. Argentina, Buenos Aires. Canada, we mentioned it a while ago, and they have a new president also. Javier, the J is pronounced H. Javier Milei is the president of Argentina. Okay, since Peru is seen here, I'll mention Peru's Prime Minister, President Dina Boluarte. National Startup Day is observed on 16th January. But what's the National Startup Week? So NS Week is observed from 10th January to 18th January. 10th January to 18th January is a National Startup Week. See, in 2016, we had 340 startups. Now, today, that is, 2022, we have 1.15 lakh startups. That's a lot of startups, isn't it? So, the number is going up every day, my friends. What are the choices like? January 15th, Army Day, Indian Army Day. Indian Army Day. 18th is the National Immunization Day. Immunization Day. January 24th is the National Girl Child Day. Girl Child Day. January 25th, National Tourism Day. Also National Voters Day. It has got 2. Okay. Which country has launched a new alliance for the global good, gender equality, gender equity and equality at the World Economic Forum? Equity is more about fairness, my friends. World Economic Forum annual meeting in Davos. So India did launch this, my friends. Not much to discuss here. Again, Norway, yeah, you could look at the capital of Oslo. Oslo is the only place where the Nobel Prize is given. One Nobel Prize is given. It's called the Nobel Peace Prize. See, the only Nobel that is given outside Sweden is the Nobel Peace Prize, and that's in Oslo. Okay. Every other Nobel Prize is given in Stockholm, the capital of Sweden, whereas the Nobel Peace Prize is always given in the Norwegian Parliament in Oslo, you know, the capital Oslo. Who is the Prime Minister of Norway? It's a constitutional monarchy, so there's a Raja there, but more than the Raja, the Prime Minister. Jonas Støre is the Prime Minister. Okay. Eros Investments plans to set up India's first artificial intelligence park in Gandhinagar. They're going to set up a, you know, what is it called, artificial intelligence university also, wherein they will provide certain programs which will help train people to build a career in artificial intelligence. Okay, this is going to be held in what is called Gift City. What is it? Gift City. Those of you who don't know, Gujarat International Finance Tech City. Finance Tech, TEC. Finance Tech City. So Gujarat International Finance Tech City. Okay, just to give you some idea, Pune is home to the National Film Archives of India. Pune is home to the National Film Archives of India. Chennai is home to Central Leather Research Institute. Central Leather Research Institute. Central Leather Research Institute. Bengaluru, Raman Research Institute. Raman Research Institute. It was started by Chandrasekhar Venkataraman, the Nobel Physics Laureate. Hyderabad is home to the National Institute of Nutrition. The National Institute of Nutrition. Okay. Researchers at America's Georgia Institute of Technology have developed the world's first functioning graphene-based semiconductor. Graphene is an allotrope of carbon, my friends. It's an allotrope of carbon. You could write graphene, extracted from graphite. Extracted from graphite. And is made up of pure carbon. Pure carbon. Is made up of pure carbon. It is, you could write, tough, light, it is light, and offers high resistance. Offers high resistance. You know, when we say high resistance, it is 200 times more resistant than, what is it called, steel. 200 times more resistant than steel, and when we say it's lighter, it is 5 times lighter than aluminum. So it's actually industrial, it's an industrial super product. Okay. Who has been nominated the chairperson of the Supreme Court Legal Services Committee, B.R. Gawai. Now, what does the Supreme Court Legal Services Committee do? Well, it provides legal aid services to people who are desperately poor or who are weak and marginalized. So it's a lot of people cannot afford legal services. The access to courts is pretty money consuming, time consuming, especially money consuming. And given that most people, are not wealthy and not well off, the Supreme Court Legal Services Committee provides free, more or less free legal aid services. Okay. What about the choices? Arun Kumar Mishra. He is a chairperson of National Human Rights Commission. National Human Rights Commission. R. Venkataramani. He is the Attorney General of India. Attorney General of India is the highest lawyer of the Government of India. He represents the Government of India across courts. Tushar Mehta, Solicitor General of India. Solicitor General of India. More or less the first assistant to AGI. India's first healthy and hygienic food street named Prasadam was inaugurated in Ujjain. Yeah, the name is nice, interesting. Okay, what are my choices? What would you find in Tirupati? Sri Venkateshwara Balaji Mandir. Madurai is home to the beautiful Meenakshi Madurai Mandir. Hampi, the capital of the Vijayanagara Empire. Vijayanagara, Hampi are the capital of more or less the major cities. Varanasi is home to, of course, the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Who will represent India at the G77 Third South Summit in Uganda? The answer is there, but what is the G77? You could write this. G77, one grouping of 135 developing nations. Grouping of 135 developing nations. Grouping of 135 developing nations. Next point. All members aim to promote economic interests among themselves. Their economic interest or among themselves. Promote economic interest among themselves. Next. Founded 1964 with 77 members. That's why it's called G77, group of 77 developing nations. Remember that now the number is 135, but the original number has stuck. Okay. So 2024 summit, Uganda. The capital of Uganda is Kampala. What is it? Kampala, that's the capital. And the president here is a dictator named Yoweri Museveni. What about these guys here? Nirmala Sitharaman, is a finance minister of India. She's also the corporate affairs minister. Piyush Goyal heads, textiles, consumer affairs. He also heads the consumer affairs, food and public distribution ministry. What about Subramanian Jaishankar, external affairs? Prahlad Venkatesh Joshi heads three ministries: Ministry of Coal, Ministry of Mines, and Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. So Prahlad Joshi heads three ministries: Ministry of Coal, Ministry of Mines, and Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. Okay. By partnering with which country has the UNDP in Ukraine launched the 2 new green rooms for effective communication between law enforcement officers and child survivors? So if a child is witness to a crime, war situation or otherwise, the child is usually traumatized, and to be able to help the child and get on with the investigation part, the UNDP, in alliance with the local police and other agencies, they have launched these green rooms in Ukraine. So what are these about? This extract that you see here has been taken from the document of the UNDP. It comprises two spaces separated by glass, special glass. There is a special glass, so you can't see the other. The other one side can, on one side, the child and the investigator or the counselor sits, talks with the child as to what exactly happened when they were witness to a crime. So the child and the other persons cannot see this, who are the people on the other side of the glass. So the entire conversation is recorded. Now this conversation is admissible in the court of law as proof, which effectively means that the child does not have to be called to a court where the child will have to relate the entire development, entire incident. So this prevents re-traumatization, because crime happening right in front of our eyes could also lead to traumatization. Okay, good development actually. Ukraine's capital is Kiev, and its president is Volodymyr Zelensky. Volodymyr Zelensky. Okay. Norway we will discuss. Finland, the capital is Helsinki, and the the prime minister is Petteri Orpo. Denmark, the capital is Copenhagen, and the prime minister is, what's his name? What's her name? Friedrich Matti. Okay, there is a full name, Friedrich Mattison, but Friedrichsen Matti. Switzerland, but I think lack of space. Switzerland has no capital, but the government sits in this place called Bern, and see, there are only two countries in the world that do not have a capital. One is Switzerland, the other is Nauru. One is Switzerland, the other is Nauru. It's a tiny country in the Pacific, which is just about 21 square kilometers. So, which also makes it the world's smallest republic. This is the third largest, smallest country in the world overall, but the two smaller ones, Vatican City has a pope, not elected. And coming to the second one, Monaco, which is again a duchy. Duchy is more or less has a king. So no one, Nauru has a president elected by the people there. So it's a republic. It's the smallest republic in the world. Okay. So Switzerland and Nauru do not have a capital. Sweden has a capital, Stockholm. And the prime minister here, see, it's a constitutional monarchy like Norway. Denmark, Norway, Sweden are all constitutional monarchies. And if you look at Sweden's prime minister, it's Ulf Kristersson. Okay. Which automobile manufacturer has completed the acquisition of General Motors India Talegaon plant in Maharashtra? Hyundai India. Hyundai is Hyundai plus Kia. It's called Hyundai Kia. It's a South Korean company. It's a South Korean company. Suzuki is Japanese. It's Japanese. We'll skip this question, simple. Usually I would discuss the CEOs and all. Tata Motors, of course, Indian. Ashok Leyland is owned by the Hinduja Group. Which owns IndusInd Bank, Gulf Oil. Okay. A while ago, there was this question about V. Muralidharan. We took the portfolios, the names of the portfolios of all except V. Muralidharan. I somehow remember this now. V. Muralidharan, my friends, is the Minister of State for one, Parliamentary Affairs, and two, External Affairs. So two ministries at the MOS level, one Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs and Ministry of External Affairs. Which city has the Prime Minister of India? Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently inaugurated Boeing's largest engineering and technology facility outside the US. It is Bengaluru. Boeing has been in deep trouble because of its Max series of aircraft, especially Max 737, and Boeing's global head office is in Virginia. Where is it? Virginia. Okay, let me be specific. The city of Arlington in the American state of Virginia. So town Arlington, state Virginia, country United States. And the CEO of Boeing is Dave Calhoun. Dave Calhoun. Okay. Institutes we've been writing, so you could write in case of Mumbai, Central Institute of Fisheries Education. Central Institute of Fisheries Education. I guess that should be. See, Boeing makes not just commercial airliners, it makes a lot of different stuff. Okay, fighter aircraft, missiles, it develops space engines and all that. So I think it's a bit. Oh, thank you guys for being here. That was the last thing we discussed, and stay curious. Thank you for being here. Thank you.